Get started in a few seconds. Ellen, I am so excited to chat with you today. And we've chatted before a couple years ago. And since then, you've had this meteoric rise into just being a dominant force in e-commerce. What do you do differently than everybody else?
Hi, Ben. That's a very good question. So, what did I do different? Well, I think it's more of the mindset thing because a lot of people when they start a business, when they have like obstacle, they give up so quick. I think it's more like I think it's same for all the business. It's all about problem solving because being an entrepreneur, there's like always issues every other day or every week. You just have to focus on how exactly do you solve this problem. I think that's the most important thing. Yeah.
So how did you come to that philosophy of being very solution oriented?
How did I come up with the solution? I think it's by experience. And actually, I read a lot of entrepreneurial books. I don't think they talk about this, but it's just something that I found out throughout my journey.
Can you share some of those instances when it started to click more for you?
Yeah, sure, sure. I would like to talk about my coaching business for this particular example because recently, I think it was just last year. Last year, so my coaching business was doing good when I was using the Facebook ad, and then there's one day Facebook suspend my ad account, so I could not advertise there anymore, and they don't tell you why exactly. So spend probably a few months trying to figure out what's going on, and I just couldn't get it. And it's a good thing that I came out with another solution to jump on to advertise on YouTube instead of Facebook, and that skyrocketed my business again. So yeah, if I just gave up there when my account got suspended, I will never be able to do things I'm doing right now.
So it almost seems like that obstacle of being having your account suspended on Facebook, which by the way, for the record, that's the most aggravating thing because you're just spending money on their platform and out of nowhere they decide we're going to say no to this revenue for almost no reason at all. It doesn't really make sense to me. But anyways, it seems like that then led to the
Something
thing that really
different.
propelled you forward. Yeah.
Yes, yes, exactly. I think it is exactly the same. Like when I got laid off, I thought that was how long ago was it? 2009. I got laid off, and then suddenly I pick up this e-commerce thing, and then became the best thing ever. So it's usually you have like some issue happening or some obstacle happening, and then you find out, okay, I need to do something differently, and that's when everything start to change.
So when you got into ecom and it started to really take off for you, why did you decide to get into the coaching piece and more of helping others? Why not stay focused and laser focused in on the ecom part?
Right. Actually, I got that question a lot. So pretty much, I don't really do much in my e-commerce business because I have really good employee and I delegate most of the thing to them because most of the things are pretty repetitive, and I don't feel like doing repetitive thing. I got like tired of doing something like always the same. So I decided, okay, maybe it's time for a new challenge. And coaching sounds like a great way to go because I already have the knowledge, right? So that's why I decide to do that because I have time and I want to take more challenge. And to be honest with you, for my coaching business, it's getting steady. So I'm actually thinking about starting another business next year.
Can we know what it is? Can we get a sneak peek?
Sure, it's a real estate investment. So
So
yeah, so I'll have to like learn from scratch everything. I like learning stuff. I learn it and then I execute it, start a business, and then make it steady, and then I just keep doing this.
so let's drill down into this idea of launching it and making it steady. Like, do you have a process that you go through to do this, or you're just kind of rinsing and repeating here?
I don't really have a process. I would just, by saying a business is steady, I just look at the sales number. Yeah,
So is it more of, so it's not as much of like it's systematized and automated to where you don't really have to be in it. It's just more steady
oh,
sales.
it's not like 100% automatic. For my coaching business, I spend about probably 3 or 4 hours per week to do that. And now I have a lot of time. I'm just doing gardening and learning Spanish. So I figure, okay, I need some more challenge.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
how did you actually get to the point where you're crushing it with your businesses and you have automated it? Like what steps did you go through to actually get it to that point?
I got it. I got it. So when I first started, nothing is automatic, right? And I started look for softwares that can automate the whole process. And of course, some of the portion that cannot be automated by software, I just find assistant and teach her or him everything I know and let them do the job.
What would stop the assistant from just going out and doing what you're doing on their own?
I'm sorry, what was it?
Like once you teach the assistant everything you know, what keeps them there?
What keeps them there? What do you mean by what keeps them there? Like
Yeah,
what?
because if they already know all the things that you know now about how to run the business, why wouldn't they just go out and start their own?
That's a very good question. So that's why when you hire people, you try to look for someone are not as ambitious as you.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So how did you make the jump from, okay, in ecom, you're selling product, moving into coaching in the ecom space, that still makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Now you're jumping into real estate. That seems like it's pretty
Off.
pretty different. Yeah.
Well, I've always wanted to do real estate investment for a long time, and that's what my friends and my dad did. So I've always known that real estate is the traditional way, even though it's a traditional way, but it's a guaranteed way to make money for long term. For long term, yeah.
And what's the goal then? Is it just to
Right.
build it up as big as you can, make as much money as possible?
Not really. The end goal is I think I'm already trying to prepare for the retirement, even though I'm kind of semi-retired already. So eventually I don't want to have any I don't want to work at all. I want to retire completely. And real estate is one of the few business that allows you to do that. Because you just like buying a property and rent it out and then just like collect money from there, and then you if there's then any like maintenance, you just uh, have those property management company to take care of that. And for e-commerce and coaching, I still need to spend a little bit time on that, even though it's not a lot. But I don't I want to retire. Yeah, I want to retire.
When you retire, what do you want to do?
Oh, learning more language, learning instruments. Like there's a lot of things to do. Yeah. Travel, even though we cannot travel now. Yeah.
So, like, when I hear retirement, I think that sounds like so much fun, but I feel like the entrepreneurial spirit is going to be like, wait a second, let's start something new or let's build
That's a
something.
very good point. Yeah, I might end up like that. Keep starting new business.
Yeah, it's so fun too. And I mean, I have like a million ideas a day, I feel like. So it's like, okay, there's definitely things that would eventually spark that creativity so
Yeah.
much where you're like, okay, I probably want to get back in this.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you.
That's awesome. So let's talk a little. Let's hop back into ecom. I know we're going down this rabbit hole, but let's hop back in with your coaching and all the people that you're working with. You've worked with a ton of people. So what are you seeing that's working in the ecom space the best? Like, what are the top performers doing, the top sellers doing that other people just aren't?
Right. For the beginning stage of all business, of course, you have to spend a lot of time on that. And of course, in e-commerce, um, I think the most important thing is the product selection.
So how do you go about how how do you go about doing those things better than other people? Like, what's your philosophy there?
It's just like private labeling. You have to create your own brand. So you use that brand name to keep sell different kinds of product, but still within the same category. So when people, okay, let's say if you want to sell skincare, like you say, right? So you just keep launching different kinds of skincare. When people search online to look for different kind of skincare products, uh, they will find your brand name. So it feels like they then feel like, okay, I guess you are the king of this product selection product, right? Because you have all the different kinds of different products. So that's always my approach for trying to promoting your brand. Yeah.
And how do you decide initially which space to go into? I mean, maybe skincare is a good one for those watching and listening, but if they definitely want to be in ecom, they may have started a few stores or maybe looking to start a new one. Like, how would you suggest going about figuring out which space to play in?
You start from your interest, of course, but I can tell people that I think one of the most not profitable niche, the products that make money are, I would say, sporting goods, because there's so many different kind of sports, and each of them have like a great variety of the product selections.
And what if they just don't like sports at all?
I don't like sports either. You don't have to like the things you sell. Like you
that's
don't have to have that like interest in that.
that's funny.
It's just something. It's just a tool for you to get to your retirement goal. That's that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
So what prevented you or why did you choose to instead of going into the coaching route, why didn't you just take your winning formula and just replicate that and keep building new ecom businesses and keep scaling out the brands that you already have?
Right. And that's a very good question because a lot of people ask me that. I think, not I think. Actually, I heard this from Ty Lopez. You know Ty Lopez, right?
Hmm.
I went to his mastermind years ago, and he talked about this. He say, usually a business after a business reach $1 million, and then after that, it's going to be really hard to scale. So it is a stand for e-commerce and coaching business. And the key for Ty Lopez to make tons of money is by having all kinds of different business. So that's like 1 million, 1 million adding together. That's how he makes money.
Ah, so it's more of let me go horizontal and let me just keep building $1 million businesses instead of let me build a $1 billion business or a
That's
$50
what I
million.
learned from him. And we're not Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates. It's really hard to scale beyond millions. I mean, it's 1 million to 5 million is not bad. It's I wouldn't say it's easy, but once you get to that point, it's really hard to like scale up to maybe 10 million. It's really hard.
What makes it so hard?
What makes it so hard? Uh, I would say probably the competition. Yeah.
Ah, because at
Yeah.
that level, they start to see you as a real threat, so they start to try to put you out of business.
It's like, because we're not selling something that's super unique that nobody's selling. We're offering the products that other people sell. So like everybody is getting a piece of pie. And that pie is just this big. And if you have maybe 20% of it, it's great. And it's hard to eat up all other people's percentage.
So have you thought about once you get a business to that level to then raise capital and acquire all of your competitors and like build this humongous thing, or that's just totally not what you're going for?
That's not what I'm thinking. Yeah.
That's interesting. So it seems like you're almost more geared towards building like a lifestyle business where
Yes,
you can really work to live, not live to work.
correct. It's not the number that I'm after, it's the lifestyle I'm after. Yeah.
And how did you come to that conclusion?
Uh, by working.
So- That's
No,
funny.
actually, I read a book about this. It's the what's the name of it? It's a really popular book.
4 hour
Hour.
work week?
Yeah, I read about it, and this book specifically talk about you're not really after how much money you're making, but actually the lifestyle you have. And I was like, oh, this is totally right. Yeah. And the more money you generate, the more there's more responsibility. You gotta hire more people, and that's more responsibility. I don't like people management. So yeah.
Have you considered bringing in somebody that's more of an operator that can kind of manage all the businesses and help them keep growing so you don't have to necessarily do that piece, but you can still be growing all the different businesses?
Operator of what kind of operator?
Like somebody that could be basically like a management team to come
Uh,
in and manage the people for you, make a lot of those decisions the day to day to where you can be more of the owner and you're kind of overseeing just a few people that are kind of your key generals, but you're still the at the top of the army to continue the
I see what you're
analogy.
saying. I never thought about it. Maybe I will want to try someday, but not for now.
That's awesome. So as as you've now gone through your journey and you've arrived at this place doing all the cool things that you have, what have been some of the most important things that you've learned about yourself along the way?
That's a good question. Important things I learned about myself. Um, Still, it's a lifestyle. I guess it's a lifestyle I'm after. Yeah, that's the more important thing. I want to have as much free time as possible so I can do a lot of things I want.
What else?
What else? Don't go after the money.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And what's next as far as like things that you're learning, things you're trying to get better at? I know you mentioned languages, but like, like how are you still working to evolve as a person? What's that next level for you?
I've been thinking about the same thing. So that's why want to start a new business. Yeah, I feel like I'm not doing anything this year. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, I want to be very respectful of your time. Um, so, I do want to ask one last question, and
Hmm.
then, I want to start to wrap it up. But, and I've asked you this before, and I love asking this question. I'm interested to see how it's changed since the last time
Sure, sure.
but what question should I be asking you that I just wouldn't think to ask?
I think I got stuck at this question last time, right? I was thinking for a long time. What kind of question you didn't ask that you should be asking? Uh, you pretty much covered a lot of things I never thought about. Let's my past before the entrepreneurship. I don't know.
We did cover that a little
We
bit in
did
the
cover
last
that.
one. Mhm.
Okay, that was a long time ago. And you did ask about like what's next. So okay, what kind of lifestyle do I have now? I kind of talk about that as well, right?
A little bit, but that would
Yeah,
be interesting to get more into.
yeah, sure. Yeah, just semi-retired. I wake up whenever, not super late, but I just there's a lot of housework in the house. So cleaning and then I'll pick up the poop for the dogs because I have 4 dogs. They generate a huge amount of the thing I need to pick up. And feed them, and then I spend an hour to study Spanish every day. I also spend some time to do meditation. I enjoy that a lot. Recently, I bought a jacuzzi in my backyard, so I really enjoy that. And start to read some books. So pretty much that's about what I do every day. Yeah.
And how many hours total do you spend on work stuff?
Uh, so I have this. I do weekly coaching call with my clients on Wednesday, and that usually lasts about 1 hour to 1.5 hour. But I need to document it after. So probably 2 or 3 hours, 2 hours on Wednesday. And then the rest of the days, if there's anything, I just reply to my assistant, probably 1 hour per day. So that's one, two, three, one, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Let's just say 7, 8 hours. Yeah,
So
per week. Per week.
you're living the dream.
I'm not still not 4 hours yet.
You're so close. You're almost there.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, Ellen, as always, it's a pleasure to speak with you, and I'm very grateful that you would fit me into some of that very precious work time in the week. So,
I do have a
thank.
question from you.
Sure.
So, what do you think the way I think is different than the last time we spoke on the interview?
Oh, what a good question. Last time, I think you were more in empire building mode,
Uh huh.
where you were still ramping up your like your personal brand more, and you were still, I think you were kind of in the beginning part of working with clients and putting together some programs to teach more people about ecom, which is it's really interesting now to see, because now it seems like that's much more established. And it felt like last time it was more intense in a good way. In a good way, it was more intense, and it feels like now you're much more relaxed and calm, and it feels like you've cleared out all of the stress of your life, and you can really think and figure out, like, okay, well, what do I really want to do, and like where do I really want to invest my time on a day-to-day basis.
That's good to know. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
well, hopefully that's where you want to be too, because
Yeah.
that's important. So
Cool.
yeah, well, anyways, Ellen, thank you so much for coming on the show. Always a pleasure, and it's so good to catch up and chat a little bit. And again, I'm very grateful for the time. I know you only have that those 8 hours of the week, so thank you very much for sharing
Thank
some
you
of
so
this.
much. Thank you.
Awesome. Everybody's watching and listening. I will see you on the next episode. Take care now.